So now let's proceed to the machine learning train and test. So evaluate your model. So in machine learning, we create models to predict the outcome of certain event. Like in the previous lesson, we were where we predict the CO2, no? So emission of the car when we know the weight and the engine size. So to make sure if the model is good enough, we can use a method called the train and test. So what is train and test? So a train and test is a method to measure the accuracy of the model. It is called train and test because we split the data into two sets, no? The training set and the data set, or training set and the testing set. So 80% for training and 20% for testing. You train the model using training set. You test the model using the test set. Train the model means create the model. Okay? Test the model means test the accuracy of the model. So, kaina, or in the previous lesson, we just create a model for linear regression, like for multiple regression or polynomial regression. So we just predict, no? So wala kita, we just don't evaluate our model. So now we have to try to train and test. So we allocate 80% for training, again 20% for testing, and of course to train the model using the training set and to test the model using test set. So that means train the model means you create your model. So mag-create ka pa lang ka model. So basically ang ginubrata kay sa mga regression and prediction class is just creating a model. So sa training lang kita, wala kita sa testing. So start with the data set. So start with the data that you want to test. Our data illustrate 100 customer in shop and their shopping habits. So example, okay, so we have this nag-generate kita sang random value, no? We have here numpire normal nga random lang class, no? That means to say we have value of 3 to 1 and then with up to 100 na combination, no? And of course, another one is this one, no? So we have the scatter plot. And the X represent the number of minutes before making a purchase. So for this X, and for Y represent the amount of money spent in the purchase. So we have to split into train and test. So as we've said, 80% is for the training set and 20% for the testing set. So in here we can assign train 80, train X is 80, train Y is 80, no? So for the test, we have 80 man for X, and for test is 80 man, no? Okay, so now we display the training set. So display the same scatter plot with training set. So ma-generate lang kita sang duha ka values, no, randomly, and we assign X and Y, no, for the for these two in the array. Ang buot silingon sini class, we start from 0 to 80, no? So because we will be using 80% of the data. Okay, so start end. So that means to say we have this value 80 na siya, no, for the training set. And of course, we can display, no, if hindi nyo na maintindihan class, you go back with numpy and array, no? Because we know how to generate random numbers. Amo ni siya ang start and amo ni ang end. So that means to say we generate the value from 0 or from 1 to 80. Okay? And we have this value. And of course, we display the training set, testing set. So, for the testing set, ang remaining na lang class, no? 80 to 100. Okay? So, 20% siya. So, now we have this kind of scatter plot, no? And the result of the testing set also looks like the original data set. So, kung i-compare natin, almost pareho sila, no? Pero, syempre, may variation lang. Kaya, syempre, ang area is 80%. So, damo siya nga plot. Ang area is 20% only. So, fit the data set. So, what does the data looks like? So, in my opinion, I think the best fit, no, would be polynomial regression. So, let us draw a line of polynomial regression. To draw the line through the data points, we use this plot method for of the matplotlib module. So, ang assumption natin is mas fit siya, no, having the data nag-display naton sa aton nga plot or scatter plot. We have an assumption nga polynomial regression ang aton nga gamiton. Okay. So, draw a polynomial regression line with the data points. So, syempre, pwede kita, no, dungano naton, we assign a value for the train data, for testing data, and we will be using the polynomial regression function to predict, no? And, of course, we have here the plot, no? Okay? So, this is the result of the training. And, of course, the result can back my suggestion that the data set fitting a polynomial regression, even though it would give us word result if we try to predict values outside the data set. So, for example, the line indicates the customer is spending 6 minutes and the top would make a purchase worth of 200, no? And it is probably a sign of overfitting. Okay? So, that means to say, may ara nga overfitting. Okay? But what about the R-squared score? So, itry man natin ang R-squared score. So, is it a good indicator of how well my data set is fitting the model? So, try natin. Remember R2, also known as R-squared, so in our previous lesson. So, it measures the relationship between the x and y axis. The value ranges 0 to 1, where 0 means no relationship and 1 means totally related. So, in scikit-learn module, has a method called R2 score function that will, or method that will help us find this relationship. So, in this case, we would like to measure the relationship between the minutes a customer stay in the shop and how much money they spend. So for example, in this one, we have to get this one, no? Kaya nga rin diya kaina is we try to make a graph, no? Graph naton siya kag visual naton if may ara bala nga overfitting you know nga maggwa. So, in this example, basically, ambal niya, wait. Example, the line indicates that the customer spending 6 minutes in the shop would make a purchase worth 200. So, 203. Okay, so, kung i-visual naton, ano ni siya, medyo layo ba? Fit bala sila? Kaya kung visually ako, mambal ko nga, fit ni siya, no? Almost line, fit, ang tanan nga plot almost, hindi tama kaya siya kalayo, no? Sa aton nga polynomial regression line. So, kung may lalayo ka diri nga mga diri sa class mo, diri siya. So, that means to say, ang ara is overfitting na siya or you have to take out that one because that could affect the prediction or the training, no? So, but in this example, wala man sang plot or wala man sang point nga layo gid. So, hindi siya outlier, no? Ang ibang nga term da is outlier, so you have to remove that one. So in this example, tanan sila nga plot class nakapalapit ma sa aton nga polynomial regression line. So ang another way to predict naman is of course R2 score, no, which was also discussed in our previous lesson. So to do that, of course, hapos lang siya tandaan ang R2 score, no. Kung 0 siya, no relationship. Kung lapit siya sa 1, may ara. Okay? So, in this example, we have this 0.799. So, there is a good relationship, no? So, example lang na klasa sang mga random mag-generate nga number. Okay? So, bring in the testing set. So, now we have made the model that is okay. So, at least, when it comes to training data, now we want to test we want to test with the testing data as well. So, to see if give us the same result, no? So, ilang taon na to? Let us find the R2 score when using the testing data. Okay? So, kung magamit naman kita sa testing data, okay? So, almost similar, no, ang gigamit natin. Here, we use the same, no? So, gin-print natin ang R2. Okay? Kailan tawon naton kung anong kinalain sa aton nga class nga result. Okay? So, in this example, we try to predict using polynomial. Okay? Ang area is of course we use the polynomial, no, or polynomial regression, and then we check the R2 or R squared error. Okay? So, R squared score. So, here we have to use the testing data. Okay? So, ang kaina nga gin-input naton diri is training data. Okay? Amo ning kinalain nila class. So, ang gin-test naton ang R2 score, gingamit naton ang training data. Now, we find the score using the testing data. So, having the testing data, may ara gyapon sila class nga relationship na. Okay? So, because the result is 0.8, which is very close to 0.7. So, buot silingon, lapit siya sa 1 gihapon. Okay? So, note that the result is 0.809. Show that the model fits the testing set as well. And we are confident that we can use the model to predict the future values. Okay? So, that means to say, we can use the polynomial regression having this data. Okay? Depende na sa data mo, class, no? As you know, ang ari gani, ang first step na ginobra niya is predict niya show niya anay ang aton nga plots, no? And then nag-make assumption among the linear regressions like linear regression single and polynomial and multiple regression, ay syempre ang ari hindi ka man gid makambal magamit kasang multiple regression, no? This because pila lang man ka random values ang kwaon nimo duwa. Okay? So that means to say x na iya ang gagamiton mo ang multiple regression. Having this line, hindi ka man pwede maghambal na linear, kay linear na diretso lang na saya or paamulan ni saya, no? Isa lang sa way siya slope. So visually makita mo nga polynomial, okay? And of course, kung di ka pa kontento, you can verify using the R2 squared score, no? R2. Kalipat ako, sorry. R squared score, okay? Or R2. Okay? So, you have to test using the training set. You have to test using the testing data set. Okay? So, predict values. Now that we have established that our model is okay, we can start predicting new values. So, how much money will a buying customer spend if she or he stays in the shop for 5 minutes? So, yes, we still use same value. And, of course, naga-work na ang aton nga model nga which is amo ni no ang aton nga model na create na kita. So, pwede kita na ano kitag ni pwede na kita maka use sang aton nga model to predict. So, paano ina siya? I-try na ton run. Okay. So, in this example, we try to predict how much money, no, a buyer, how much money will a buying customer spend if she stays in the shop for 5 minutes. So, 5 minutes lang siya, no, line space. 0 to 6. Okay? Ang nagstay lang siya for 5 minutes. Okay? So, pila ka kwarta ang iya nga i-spend, no? Amo na siyang bot silingon. So, we can have this one. In this example, we have syempre nakabutang na kita nga daan dira, no, nampay. We have the training, X and Y, which is 4. And of course, so diri sa example naton ang aton nga ano, may ara na kita na daya nga daan, no. And then may ara kita ibutang nga 0 to 6, which is the space, no. So diri. Okay. So let's say this represent the time, okay? And this represent the money that the person is going to spend. So that's why may ari kita nga representation like 0 to 6, no. And of course 100, no, ang possible values, no. And of course we have now this model, print model 5. So may ara kita nga i-print niya ang sa ika number 5, no, ang ika number 5 nga array. Okay? So, pila? 22.87 something. Okay? Ang iya nga possible nga mga spend. Okay? So, I hope you understand, maintindihan ninyo class ang ginahambal diri ni ma'am ninyo. If you cannot understand, you may go back to first is polynomial regression, because we have a complete lesson for polynomial regression. And if hindi nyo pagid maintindihan class, you know, kung hindi mo nabalaan ang mga nampay ni class, hindi mo ni siya maintindihan nga hasta nga naghambal kita nga 80 ang aton nga training dataset, nga 80 na siya diri, no, kag nga diri na sa sapiak sang colon. Of course, again, ang range naton is start, end. Okay, so din siya gampisa. So ang value nga ma-generate si ni class is 80, no. Ang value nga 0 to 80, no, or 1 to 80. Okay, that's why it's 80%. Ang ari naman, it will return the value pila ni kabilog halin sa 80 to 100. So 20 siya. And of course, we have the line space na. We have this value, no. Buot siling mo nag-start sa 0. Okay, start sa 0 hasta sa 6. And we have this random 100 random values. Okay? And pwede tani mabutang this is a tawag ni data no naton. And then of course we print only the 5. Okay? So ang 5 naton class would return this value. So amo ni siya ang nagrepresent nga hambal ko kay ina, this is the time, this is the money, no? Kung ibutang nato sa balik nato sa example nga how much money will a buying customer spend if she stay or he stays in shop for 5 minutes. Time, and this is money. Okay? So example, predicting the customer to spend $22.88 as same sa correspondence diagram na. So, pwede man kita makahambal nga, yes, this is it, na? So, mahambal kita nga, amo ni ang ma-spend niya, na? Nag-stay siya sang 5 minutes. So, amo ni ang ayang possible ma-spend. That is just a prediction. Okay? So, there are a lot of application of this, and if you encounter a problem nga ginapa-predict kamo class sang certain value, syempre you have to think the relationship between the variables or between the columns, no? Or between the variables. Kung ang ginapapangita nga value has a two independent variable, okay? Ma-predict bala nato na siya using the two values or isa lang. Kay kung isa lang, linear regression. Kay kung duwa, multiple regression. Kung to test naman if naga-fit ang imong method nga ginagamit or model, syempre, we can also think of linear regression model, polynomial regression model, multiple regression, and other model, no? Pero imo gidya is you must know your data para maintindihan mo kung how are you going to ano ang gamiton mo nga model, anong approach nimo. Okay? So in this example, we have the we can use the training and test data to evaluate if the model that we use is appropriate for the prediction that we're going to do. Okay? So, amo na siya class ang buot silingon sang lesson naton. So, I hope you learned something. So, that's all for the test or training and test model. Okay?